My one regret, if I could even call it a regret, I would have taken one of my team, put them in charge of that company, and I'd have stepped away so that I could focus on family. The internet's great, but it can be very solitary, very lonely.
You and your computer.
Yeah, and I started by selling these laptops to my friends, and then eBay had just started to take off, so I thought I'll chuck a couple onto eBay, and they flew. They just sold and sold. Yeah. Okay. And I made, over the course of a summer, I made about £40,000 cash profit. So my agency life looked like we were working a lot of evenings and weekends. We were doing like all-nighters to deliver projects. Every week, 3 calls, 1 new client. For either a branding or a web project. How I got those was through, I think I guested on something like 48 different podcasts that year.
48?
Yeah, literally like 1 a week. I was like, bang out 1 a week.
Before COVID you started?
Yeah, I was already in online coaching from like 2017, which was interesting because then all of a sudden I went from just having clients in the UK to I was able to coach anyone anywhere in the world. And now I have clients in 30 countries.
What happens when you bump into a celebrity at an event? That's what happened in 1 Billion Summit in Dubai. I bumped into Robin Waite. I watched him on Ali Abdaal's podcast and learned a lot from the episode. Robin Waite is a renowned business coach helping coaches in 30 plus countries who made a bold transition from running an agency for 12 years to building a thriving coaching practice that helps entrepreneurs scale smarter, not harder. In this episode, Robin shares practical wisdom on scaling a business, mastering sales without feeling pushy, building powerful communities, and designing a business that truly fits your lifestyle. This conversation is packed with honest lessons for entrepreneurs who want to grow their business without losing themselves in the process. Let's dive in. Hello everyone. Before we dive into today's episode, I just want to take a quick moment to say thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for being part of this journey. Whether you have watched 1 episode or 100, dropped a comment or shared it with a friend, your support means a lot to us. Because of you, we are now going global, recorded episode across 4 countries and 7 cities. And yes, we just hit our 100th episode. If you have been loving the content and want to see more powerful stories of career transformation and life fulfillment, do us a quick favor. Subscribe to the channel. Share this podcast with at least 10 people. And drop a comment telling us which guest you'd love to see next on Let's Talk Clarity. Let's keep spreading clarity and hope, one story at a time. I'm Rakesh Mathuria, your coaching business mentor and host of the Let's Talk Clarity podcast. Now, sit back and enjoy the episode. Welcome to Let's Talk Clarity podcast, and today we are in Dubai on 1 Billion Summit, and I watched Robin in Ali Abdaal's podcast. In 2 of the podcasts, I watched whole episode, and I have never thought of that I will meet him in Dubai. So Robin, welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for, I'm glad we bumped into each other. Walking past Simon Squibb's stand as well, weren't we? So it's a who's who of like influencers here.
So I was just watching you and just thinking that where I have seen you, and then I got to remind us that I saw you on Ali Abdaal's. And then I have watched all the whole episodes, both the episodes. I learned a lot about business, about how to make it to the marketing and the step-by-step approach.
Yeah.
So Robin, let's start our podcast with you have been to business coaching and helping coaches, consultants to build their coaching business. But let's go back to your school days or college days. So at that point of time, whether you were having this clarity of career that one day you will become a business coach.
Coaching wasn't really a thing for me until I was like probably close to like the end of my 20s, early 30s. So school for me was mostly, in fact, I didn't get into like doing business until I was 17. So we have something called GCSEs, which you do up until the age of about 16. And then it's 17 and 18, you then you select like 2 or 3 subjects that you want to do. So it wasn't until I was 17 that I chose a business related did. So I did business studies basically as an A-level.
Okay.
And it was during that. So you have to bear in mind as well. So when I did my business studies A-level, it was probably 1997, 1998.
Okay.
So the internet hadn't been around that long, but we had to put together a business plan for it. For the business studies course, and my business plan was a cyber cafe.
Okay.
So and I remember my business teacher saying, "Oh, that'll never work. This internet thing will never catch on."
Yeah. This is a new thing.
Yeah, it's a new thing. You know, bear in mind the internet was kind of born in like 1990, so it had been around a while. But they poo-pooed my business plan.
So let me ask you. So cyber cafe, how was expensive it was internet? So in India, it was like $2 per hour. Or like that.
Oh yeah, it was exactly even more expensive than that here. So I mean, I never followed through that business plan.
Okay.
We did it just purely for the purely for the studies. Yeah,
Okay.
but I didn't get a very good grade because the person teaching me lacked the vision to see how good it was. So which is ironic. So I went from getting an E in business studies to now I run multiple six-figure businesses.
Okay.
And I've helped multiple like very influential people run 7, 8, even 9-figure businesses. So things have moved a lot in the last sort of 25 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So Robin, let's take you through that. You have started your own business, and then from there, actually, you learned in your college also. But after the college, actual business is something different.
Yeah.
And that comes on the job only, and with your with your lows, you learned a lot. So how you maneuver those things? How you learn business side? Yeah.
Well, so I did go on to do a university degree as well in business management. I did quite well at that. But whilst I was doing it, I was kind of worried because I was looking. We have student loans in the UK to kind of support when you do further education.
College. Okay.
And I could see these the numbers that I was borrowing just mounting up and mounting up and mounting up. And of course, my family aren't business oriented at all. My mum and dad both had jobs, very steady jobs, very steady income. Business wasn't really in our family. And I was just worried about leaving university after 3 years with mountains of debt and no prospects of what do I do. So I thought, well, I need to make some money. What do you do? And I'd bought this laptop, and again, this is 25 years ago, 26 years ago now.
Okay.
So I bought this laptop. It was a Toshiba or a Fujitsu or something like that. But what you could do with it, you could twizzle the screen around, and so the laptop turned into a tablet.
Okay.
So 26 years ago, right?
Wow.
So crazy. And all of my friends kept on saying, where did you get this laptop from? It's so cool. You can do a tablet. And I was there sat in my university lectures taking notes with it.
Okay.
But what happened is I found it secondhand, grade 2 listed, and it cost me about £500, so $600-700.
Okay.
But brand new, they were $5,000 or $6,000, so 10 times the price.
10 times, okay.
Right. So what I did, and my friends didn't know this, so all I did is I went and got my Egg credit card, which you got cash back on, and I bought 10 of them. And I started by selling these laptops to my friends, and then eBay had just started to take off, so I thought I'll chuck a couple onto eBay, and they flew. They just sold and sold. Yeah.
Okay.
And I made, over the course of a summer, I made about £40,000 cash profit. The market then fell out the bottom of that. The bottom fell out of the market with those laptops, and eBay got flooded with them, so they brought the prices down, and I kind of got out.
Okay.
But I made my money. I paid off most of my student loans.
Paid most of them? Oh, wow.
It taught me about how to source products, how to market products, how to sell products, taught me about cash flow management and tax and all of these really useful things.
Okay.
But then it was well, what next? Because now I'm not selling these laptops anymore. There's no money there. So at the time, there was a part-time job which I'd been running, just working on some systems in a medical company. And a very good friend of mine who I'd met there, he'd gone traveling, and he came back from traveling at the same time I finished my degree.
Okay.
He was doing sort of network installations, building websites for people, and obviously I was in now selling these laptops. So we just got together, started up our first business. So proper business.
Okay.
So in that business, so in 2004, that was building websites for people. We were doing branding projects, so logo design and things like that. Website hosting, care plans. That was kind
you
of our mainstay.
started so early in this brand. Yeah. At that point of time, 2003-4, it was just taken off.
Yeah.
And I could still remember in 2004-5, I bought my first online purchase through eBay only.
Yep.
And before that, I think I started with Rediff mail shopping. if you remember.
Very cool. Yep, I know it. Yeah.
I purchased a cable, a very low cost cable,
Yep.
to start the online business. So to get the confidence that yes, online business works, online e-commerce works. So that is a very good that eBay started and everything. So so Robin, so let us take us through what came next. You started your business with your friend.
Yep.
Then what happened? Yeah.
We just had a lot of fun.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. So, you know, a lot of people start businesses just because they like for a financial means to an end, I suppose, which is like why I started the side hustle selling laptops. But when the two of us got together, and because we were friends from the previous company, it was really just about, right, we're going to learn as much as we possibly can do about like websites and tech and stuff like that, and we'd share ideas, collaborate on stuff. Like if it was about the money, we would have failed in the first year. I'm not going to lie. We took home £8,000 each in that first year. Right? Okay. But for me as a student, like it was brilliant. It was just a lot of fun, and I can actually make money from this. This is crazy.
And curious to learn new things.
Yeah.
The curiosity and everything,
yeah, and then so curious to learn, but also then when we started doing it, maybe it was through OCD or a bit of autism, I don't know, but we were just like, we want to be the best, we want to get as good at this as we possibly can do, and be known for what we do in our local areas. So over the course of the next 12 years growing this business,
12 years,
12 years, we must have delivered probably 300 or 400 website projects, plus another, probably 200 branding projects, all for local, small local businesses, helping them to get online, because websites were like, oh my God, this is really mysterious. Like, what are these websites? What's this internet thing all about? It was just about mastering our craft, and by the end of it, so. By year 11, we got to a point where we were just under £250,000 a year revenue. So we had a small team of 4 people. We brought them on as apprentices as well, so they were very young. They just grew with the business as we grew it. My business partner left just before the end of year 11, so he just reached a point where he had a young family and wanted to prioritise them, so he left me in charge of the business. And by year 12, I then had a young family, and life completely changed. So I just found that agency life it didn't contribute positively towards having a young family. So my agency life looked like we were working a lot of evenings and weekends. We were doing like all-nighters to deliver projects. We had a lot of stress because at the time we had about 200 clients on care plans, and they were just calling us 24/7. When if there were problems with the websites. I mean, thankfully we were quite good, so it wasn't constant, but it was enough that. And at the time, I didn't know what I know now. 10 years after that, now. My one regret, if I could even call it a regret, because I don't have any, there's no negative, nothing negative about it, but I would have taken one of my team, put them in charge of that company, and I'd have stepped away so that I could focus on family. But I didn't know that. It's just one of the things you learn. When I eventually did step away from the agency, so this is something I shared on Ali Abdal's podcast. The stress that it was creating was kind of creeping. Just gradually, it just crept
compounding
over time. And then one day I was out cycling with my club, my cycling buddies, and I just had a mental breakdown. I just burst into floods of tears, didn't know really why. Went and sat somewhere quiet for a bit and rocked. But what it came down to is I just burnt myself out. I just got to a point of stress, couldn't, but I also didn't really know what to do about it. So went back and spoke to my wife and said, look, I think I'm going to shut the agency down. I think I'm done with this thing. Because as the business grew, we started to take it more seriously. And I think that we lost sight of the fun that we were having at the start of the journey. And this is something which I took into my coaching business, was that I'm not going to do that again. It's going to start fun, it's going to end fun, and there's going to be a whole heap of fun in the middle of it, right? And so, and not only having fun, there is still this serious side to business, but through that, make sure it's fulfilling. Am I actually getting intrinsically filled up through this? Like with the marketing agency, clients paid us money. We poured everything into their projects, gave everything, and we didn't get the appreciation back from it. So I was like, whatever I choose to do next, I want to make sure that I get some intrinsic fulfillment. And motivation from it. Because when you're having fun, when you're feeling fulfilled and you're getting something back from your business, you can do it forever. You have the energy just to keep on going with it. And business, as you know, the business journey looks like that. It's up and down all the way. And when you get through the dips, you've got to have that fulfillment and that fun, that passion for your business. is what you need in order to pull you out of it and get back onto the upsides, the peaks, and out of that. And even me, with what I know now, there are still times when business is hard, but I know that it's only temporary. I know I'm going to get through it. I have all of the skills and resilience to be able to like pull myself through it now. And then literally, so I went back to Mrs. Waite and I'm like, right, darling, I'm shutting the business is closed. I went in on the Monday morning, I told my team, they were brilliant, they couldn't have been more supportive. And then in the process of kind of, pulling the business apart, starting to wind it down, somebody actually came and said, I heard you're selling, you'll get closing your agency, I'd like to buy it. So not for a huge amount of money. I got an earn out over 2 years, so just a small amount each month, so I didn't need to work. I could focus on my family. And then
so 2 years sabbatical.
Yeah, kind of. But I didn't last 2 years because I had enough of like baby conversations after about 6 months. So started going back to networking groups. And again, this is probably another key learning from this is like the internet's great, but it can be very solitary, very lonely. And so
you and your computer.
Yeah. And I would sometimes I'll be in my little studio in the Cotswolds in England in the hills, and I won't see anybody for 5 days. Right, at times, sometimes that's okay, you need that, but most of the time you need the connection.
Even it happens with me also. Sometimes I also, when I'm watching my podcast and then instructing my editor, so I had to watch my podcast again and again. And 2-3 days I'm into it, making the podcast, editing, and sometimes it becomes very heavy, you can say. But it is enjoyable. So Robin, I'm having 2 questions here. So one is that in the 12 years of your marketing business, how you learned sales, that is number 1. And number 2, how was your business with a friend? How that equation worked out? There must be some difficult times also, because friend is also there and he's a business partner also there. So how you manage both? So 2 questions.
So first of all, I would tell anyone, don't go into business with somebody that you don't know. Right, I knew Caleb really well, and he was the loveliest guy, had the most wonderful energy. He was very patient, and frankly that like countered off with me because I can be quite a stressy, high energy person. He was very calm, cool, and like level-headed. So we balanced each other off really nicely. And we didn't actually butt heads that often. We didn't argue that much. He was very much on the technical side, so he was very much in like building websites and the design side of things, whereas I was more on the business side of things, doing the finance, accounting, marketing, sales and those sorts of things. So we did, so this would be the second, I suppose, piece of advice when you work with a business partner would be, sit down with that business partner and then decide on what your roles are going to be each.
Clear boundaries.
This is what you do, this is what I do. But most importantly, one of the things that Caleb and I agreed was that if it's a sales and marketing thing, we'll discuss it, but I have final say. Right? You on the website side of things, we'll discuss it, but you have final say on the websites. And that worked really well because that point of veto meant that somebody was in charge of it. Somebody was taking accountability.
Ownership.
Ownership. That's the perfect word. So that's essentially how we kind of divided up our time. The time when really we came to blows again, and I look back on this, I'm not so proud of it, but it's part of the growing up learning process. When his kids came along several years before mine did, of course when you have kids, they're ill, they have to go to school, they take holidays and time off, and you have to be there as a parent. I didn't understand this. So my business partner's like barely in the office. Like Caleb went through a phase where it was just one of those things, his kids were constantly sick, like in the September to November period, right? I got really frustrated with it. I was like, mate, I'm running the business, I'm doing everything, and you're just buggering off, like leaving me, to spend time with your family. And we really came to blows. How it culminated though was when my first daughter came along, and now I get a taste of like the illnesses, the nursery runs, all of the dadding, the parenting stuff. I finally said to him, Caleb, I am so sorry about how I treated you when you couldn't, when you were busy focusing on your family. I finally get it. And the poor guy burst into tears, because he obviously been holding it in for that long, so it shows the character of the guy. but that was it. That's really the only time we sort of fell out. And then in the end, when he left, he was kind of like, look, I'm just tired of being in agency life. A bit like what I got when I decided to get out.
Okay. It was amicable separation.
Very amicable. We're still very good friends. We catch up periodically even now. So, I've got a lifelong friend in him. Beyond the sales side of stuff, what do you want to know?
Okay. So actually in the business, the money, the cash flow is oxygen.
Yeah.
Okay. And the most important thing which has to be taken care is the sales.
Yep.
From where the business will come and the conversion and everything happen. But most of the time the founders, they try to avoid sales, and it is difficult.
Yeah.
It is difficult to go out there and accept the rejection.
Yeah.
So I want to know how you learn those things during the process of business and how you handle rejections in the sale.
How I handled rejection was not to face rejection in the first place. So back in the agency days, we used to just send out loads of proposals and hope that people said yes.
Yes.
So there was no sales involved in it because I just didn't have the conversations with people. And then as things progressed and I realized, if people are going to spend more money with us and we do bigger deals, they're going to want to spend time talking with us about what are they actually getting.
Okay.
So I'm actually an introvert, believe it or not, by the very nature of who I am, and so I've had to learn how to. So I had to lean into starting to have sales conversations with people, get rid of that natural introversion, and actually speak to people. And I took on a sales mentor. So I did a coaching program with another incredible entrepreneur, Daniel Priestley. So Dan has written I think he's up to 5 books now, or 6 books or something, and he runs several amazing business accelerators. So I did the Key Personal Influence Accelerator towards the back end of when I was in the agency, and I met this incredible guy called Nick Rickson, who was he was the product mentor on the program, on the KPI program, but just an incredible sales mentor. So he literally took me under his wing and taught me how to sell. And their process was simple. It was very much based on building relationships and rapport. It was no pushy or persuasive aggressive sales techniques. It was just very natural.
Building relationships.
Yeah. All of the things you associate with sales, it was the opposite. And that's what I teach clients now when I'm working with them on the sales side of things. But one of the things which I noticed was that a lot of our clients, when we were talking about the features, so let's take a website, it's got to be HTML standards compliant, and we're going to build X number of pages of content, and we're going to add a shopping basket in a blog. They were like, where's all this stuff?
Yeah.
But when I then changed the value proposition to be about generating leads or setting appointments for their hairdressing business or whatever it was, their eyes lit up, because basically, ultimately, every business is driven, like you said, by got to generate revenue. How do you get revenue? You've got to sell something. But there was one thing which really stuck out which Nick helped me with. So web design and branding are very resource heavy. So once you get a new client on board, you're just head down working, right? And so what we would do is we'd end up in this thing I called the sales cycle of doom: sell, deliver, sell, deliver, sell, deliver, sell, deliver, right? Just going round and round in circles. Get a client, head down, build the thing. Right, got that done. Right, next client, get head down, build the thing. And I realised in the spare time we had, we might do a bit of marketing. Sales was always back of the pile. It was bottom of the pile. It was an afterthought. So most of our time would be client fulfillment, delivery.
Delivery. Operations.
Then a bit of spare time marketing, and then our marketing would work. But then somebody would say, "Can we have a call?" And I'd be going through my diary I don't have any space for a call. So Nick said, you need to make sales the priority. You need to, in your default diary,
top of the...
put your empty sales meetings in your diary first. And then the goal doesn't become like for most small business owners, when they start up, they'll, day to day, they'll be like, right, need to get some clients. What should I do? I'll do some marketing. What marketing shall I do? So they kind of make it up. Whereas the simple question for us then became, I'd look at my diary and I'd have 2 empty slots on a Monday and an empty sales call slot on a Wednesday afternoon. I'd be like, what do I need to do this week to fill up those 3 sales calls? So it's the same result.
Reverse engineering.
And it wasn't social media, it wasn't a lot of the stuff that people recommend. It was going out and meeting people and proactively
one-on-one,
telling them that I had an empty consultation slot and would they like it.
This is powerful.
but so simple as well at the same time. So it was a total game changer, and then you just gamify it. It's like, right, fill up the empty consultation slots. I also knew, provided I qualified the people, that we would have about a 1 in 3 conversion rate. So every week, 3 calls, 1 new client. For either a branding or a web project.
Superb.
And it just became a bit of a sales machine. So again, this is all stuff that I teach my coaching clients now. It's like, right, they all want the shiny marketing thing, and I'm like, you don't get to market until you've mastered like filling sales calls. Like, when you can fill sales calls, then you get to like turn on the tap and we'll do some marketing tactical stuff. Get the business model right first, then go out and get clients.
Wow, this is powerful. This is powerful. So Robin, so we have learned about marketing thing, the sales, and how you started business, how to meet your boundaries. So here, for the audience, let me also share or also reinforce again that we should have a coach for sales also.
Yes.
Whatever is your pain point, have a coach.
Yep.
Get some coach, get a system, attach to some community. Yeah. They will definitely guide you.
Yeah, 100%.
That is
100%.
very important.
Yeah, and I like the fact you've mentioned as well about like if you've got a very specific pain point. There are so many coaches out there, and you can find a coach who can specialize in those specific areas. It's like, whilst I ran a marketing agency as well, I was very. Because you asked about sort of the career progression. So I spent 12 years in marketing. Frankly, I was tired of it and I didn't want to do marketing coaching because I was just done with it. So I was very intentional when I set up the coaching practice that I'd focus on the business model and I wouldn't be a marketing coach. We do still help clients out now occasionally if they've got a marketing question, because I have that experience. But I realized that the business model has to be right. So where I was talking about like the sales cycle of doom, for example, the reason you end up in the sales cycle of doom, or a lot of business owners do, is because they're not charging enough, and their offer is, they're like order takers.
Yes.
So they design
somehow
products,
get the offer, get the order.
Exactly. And they're just constantly grinding it out, chasing sales, just trying to bring in bits of cash. And then the one thing they always say is, I want to make more money, right? And I'm like, have you done anything to address making more money? Oh, well, we're trying to get more clients. Oh, but you've been trying to get more clients and you're still telling me you're not making enough money. So surely that business model is flawed that you've got there. So I came up with this philosophy that the dream business is actually one where you've got double the income, but with half the clients. Where everybody, every man, woman and their dog in 2026 is talking about shiny marketing things and attracting more clients. I'm like, actually, if you had half the clients, you do half the sales consultations, you've got half the client fulfillment, you've got half the admin and finance that comes along with those clients, but most importantly, half the marketing effort. You don't have to work as hard to attract as many clients, right?
Yes.
But how do we then enable that to work? How do we get more money through fewer clients? Well, actually, again, rather than selling the thing which you do, sell the results or outcomes of the thing which you do to your clients. So get that value proposition right. So people don't buy websites, they buy leads. People don't buy graphic design, they buy how attractive their brand is going to be in bringing clients into their world, right, into their ecosystem.
Yes.
And what we've discovered is now that most clients, when they come to work with us, we get to a point where they're charging typically about 3 to 5 times what they traditionally would have been charging on an hourly rate. Just by packaging up their offer properly and then increasing the prices.
Superb.
And then teach them how to sell it. So if your product's bigger, different, better, if your prices are high, you've got to learn how to sell.
Got it.
And make sure you're picking off the right sorts of clients. So
definitely. Yes, I'm learning a lot.
Hey coaches and want to be coaches, I have a great announcement for you. If you want to start your coaching business or want to level up your coaching business, we are thrilled to announce our formula for building a coaching business through the power of podcasting. It is not just an online course. It's a community of coaches where we meet every week and grow together to build your coaching business along with your podcast. So, click the link to attend my webinar, Podcast Made Easy for Coaches, and jump into the Clarity 10X community. Now, enjoy the episode on Let's Talk Clarity.
So let's discuss that also, because while working, you are building your business marketing and then building your coaching business. That requires a different strategy, different skills, and you are having the experience. So let me take you back to 2012-13 when you have just started building. So how you started?
2017 it was. 2016, 17 when I
16,
started
17.
the coaching
Okay,
business.
around 10 years ago. So how you started? Whether you started on a paper that I will be doing this, or whether you hired a coach, or how you started that business?
So I did everything I've just told everybody not to do. So
Okay.
Late 2016 when I started getting back, I was doing like informal mentoring with clients.
mentoring.
So I wasn't
Okay.
getting paid for it. People heard that I'd sold my agency, they wanted to replicate it. So I just started doing informal mentoring. When I eventually sort of was like, right, I need to make this a thing now. So my earnout was starting to run out. And I was
Okay.
like, I need to start earning some money again.
And people also started to come in for help.
Yeah, so bits. I was getting sort of offers for speaking gigs and things like that. I already had a book, so I'd written a book just before I let the agency go.
Okay.
So that was called Online Business Startup. It sold really well. So that my personal brand was kind of a bit elevated, not
Okay.
huge. But basically, I looked at what other coaches were doing, and I thought, what am I willing to do that they're doing? What can I replicate? And I noticed they were speaking on podcasts. They were speaking from the stage. They had books. They were hosting events and things like that. They were networking lots. So I just replicated that, but on steroids.
Okay.
So my first year, proper official year in the coaching business, I booked something like 125 sales calls, consultations. How I got those was through, I think I guested on something like 48 different podcasts that year.
48?
Yeah, literally like one a week. I was like, bang out one a week.
Okay.
I ran several, my own local networking groups, so we did 12 of those events throughout the year. I did 2 big marketing events with several hundred people at each one. I spoke at, I think, 44 different events throughout the year as well in my local area. So literally I just did so much activity that there was no way that I could fail. And I burnt out. Had a good year. I did £89,000 in that first year coaching, so a successful year.
Wow.
But I was shot. I was so tired and exhausted by the end of it. And then I started to shift from 2017 to 2019 into, rather than being one-to-one in-person coaching, shifted more into the online space again.
Okay. Group coaching?
Eventually, not straight away, but eventually.
Okay.
So the first pivotal moment really in the practice was I used to go out and meet clients, like to do their coaching sessions with them. So I would drive out, maybe an hour drive out, 2 hours doing the coaching session, an hour either home or back to the next coaching session.
Yeah.
And I would do 2 or 3 coaching sessions a day.
Okay.
And as any one driver was exhausted. So just by going online, I saved all of the traveling hours, like 20 hours a week in traveling.
Wow.
Because I thought, a service business, I'm a coach, so I need to serve them, I have to go to them, yeah. Turns out you don't. So again, I've learned over the years that a lot of the assumptions and beliefs that we kind of create in our minds, we don't question. When I started questioning my own thoughts and not believing my own thoughts, again, you have all these epiphanies, these things you're like, people don't mind going onto Zoom to do a coaching session, okay.
So before COVID you started?
Yeah, I was already in online coaching from like 2017.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because then all of a sudden I went from just having clients in the UK to I was able to coach anyone anywhere in the world, and now I have clients in 30 countries.
Wow.
You know, so that was the first transition. The next transition was around like value of how I valued my coaching. I thought I had to deliver so much value in a coaching session that I would coach somebody for like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I would just keep going until they were just exhausted and told me to stop, basically. But then I just realised that's not helpful either, like, you know, making a client tired through too much coaching. So I reduced the time of a session down to 90 minutes.
90 minutes, okay.
So, and it was advertised as coaching sessions would be up to 90 minutes. And I had some cases when I introduced that one simple change where people would be 20 minutes into a coaching session and they'd be like, I've got everything I need.
Okay.
Right, they have that insight, they're done. And so again, saved a huge amount more time. And then kind of my reputation grew, personal brand grew. It was January 2019, which is when we launched the first group program. And the only reason I was, I suppose, forced to do that was because I was just getting so much inbound inquiries at this point. So my reputation was up there.
Okay.
And I thought I just couldn't deliver like the volume of coaching if I was to do it all one-to-one. So Launched the Fearless Business Accelerator in 2019. And we've had about somewhere approaching about 300 or 400 clients go through that now.
Okay.
And again, everything's an evolution. So got through COVID, and I realized the power of, you mentioned the word community earlier on. So the power of bringing people together and that sort of mastermind effect, as well as learning, having coaching, things like that. Got to a point where essentially we just shifted into group. It was highly leveraged. Our results for group are better than my one-to-one coaching.
Okay.
And then the final insight, which just changed my world. I mean, I was already helping clients with pricing, so I practice what I preach. But I was like, how can I elevate? Like, what would it look like if I elevated my group coaching prices to the same price as what my one-to-one is? Because people were paying that and getting they were getting better results. So we did it, and we still sold.
Okay.
Still sold. We're at I'm 4 times the price now of when we launched the accelerator in 2019. It's cost 4 times as much now.
Okay.
We do lifetime access.
Okay.
Because clients get the result after, within 6 months, but then they don't need much support after that, but they like being in the community. So I like just stay in the community then.
Yes.
Lifetime access. And I do have some one-to-one clients, but they tend to be slightly bigger businesses, like 2 to 10 people, say, with slightly different problems, pain points. And I charge considerably more for that now. Because in the nicest possible way, I don't really want to do one-to-one, because it's not a good leverage, it's not a good use of my time. Right?
Okay.
So I'll charge between 12 and 18k now to work with clients one-to-one.
One-to-one.
And they get a lot of me for that.
Yes.
So it's a nice balance of, I get 20 to 30 group clients a year. I get probably 4, 5, 6 one-to-one clients.
One-to-one, yes.
I have a couple of other businesses as well, which are going quite nicely. So,
wow. Okay.
Which is great, because it means there's no pressure on the coaching business either now. If that business is going well, it props up the coaching business. If the coaching business is going well, then it doesn't matter if that business isn't performing quite so well. So yeah, it's good balance now. Finally, after 22 years, I'm a slow learner.
Superb. So actually, my question was that I was to ask that what are your learnings of coaching business? You already answered all these.
Thank you. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
So let me ask you this question, because this is very important in this coaching business. Group coaching and one-on-one means high ticket, and then we have to make it in a community.
Yeah.
So how to nurture community? So this is very big pain point for coaches.
Yeah.
They are good in group coaching, they are good in one-on-one, but how to nurture the communities, in which sometimes they are not having time, coaches, and then they start to feel the pressure that yes. So how to nurture communities?
Yeah. So it's easier than you think. Mm-hmm. Part of it is just building and reinforcing habits. People tend to model and copy what other people are doing, and if something happens regularly enough, then it becomes an expectation. So one of the first things we did with the group program is we launched our Winning Fridays. So every Friday I encourage clients to share their wins into our WhatsApp group.
Okay, Fridays.
Every Friday. Okay. So for 3 or 4 Fridays I had to prompt people to share their wins. Now I don't have to remind anybody. Friday rolls around and everybody is desperate to share their wins. Right, so
people are waiting for the Friday.
Yeah, and quite often they'll share their wins before that anyway, because they're just excited. But so all it is you just build habits and then reinforce them through it, and then naturally people start to adopt those and do them. Sometimes it starts to tail off and you have to put reminders in and things. Yeah. The second thing is then around this notion of a tribe, building a tribe, because
togetherness.
Togetherness. People, they recognise that their problems aren't unique or different. Everybody else is struggling with the same things, so they feel naturally more safe in that environment. Vulnerable, they're happy to share on the coaching calls, especially. They know that it's a safe place where they can kind of share their biggest fears and worries or concerns about their business, and quite often their life as well. So I think there's something about being a business coach where I'm actually also a life coach stroke therapist as well with some of my work. But We shouldn't say that if my clients see it.
Yes.
But it's true. But it means that it's a very safe place, and we encourage our clients as well to have an accountability buddy within that group.
Yes.
And quite often they have little accountability groups. So it means that we're kind of matching people up. They're all helping one another.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, because what's interesting is, like, as the, I suppose, founder of that group, people don't want to feel like they're bothering me. So I don't mind them bothering me, by the way. I don't mind my clients coming and I'd rather they did come and ask questions and share if they were struggling with things like that. But what happens now is quite often, by the time we roll around to a Wednesday call, people will have resolved a lot of their problems or challenges already.
Yes.
Through working with an accountability buddy or in a group or things like that.
Most of the things,
so it takes the pressure off, and then I can really focus on the high level problem solving stuff where they're really stuck, that they need the coach to then be there to challenge them on whatever's going on.
Great. So Robin, we have discussed about the whole of your career, right from your school, college till here. So let me ask you this very question, this beautiful question, because we are always busy in coaching, marketing and so many things. So how you are balancing your family life and business? What tools you are using, or how you are balancing?
So I won't go into the tools because it's too tactical, but I only coach 6 to 8 hours a week now.
Okay.
That's my work responsibilities. If I just dropped everything else aside from coaching, I could get that done in a day, basically.
Okay.
However, it wasn't always like that. So again, about 3 years or so ago, I made a very conscious decision that I didn't want to work on Fridays.
Okay.
But taking a whole day off when you're as focused on your business as I am is actually quite hard work. So, I just always end up back at my desk or working, whatever. So I started off by just, essentially I would book a haircut on a Friday morning, and then I'd go out and do that. So I'd keep myself busy doing something but not work.
Okay.
And then eventually, it's like guilt-free time off as an entrepreneur is a muscle that you have to exercise, and you have to do the reps and practice it. And so now I'm quite content not working.
Wow.
I've taken off. I've been off since the 19th of December, and with the summit, I'll have had the best part of a month off. My business is still working. Nothing's broken. People are happy. There's no, I don't need to be in my business all of the time.
Yes. We have to make systems so that it will run automatically.
Well, again, I'm not the guy to speak to about systems and stuff like that, because I'm actually like, the moment I need to build a system, I'm like, do I actually need that thing? Can I just not do the thing that I'm trying to build a system for? Will my business break or still run? And quite often, a lot of the stuff that we want to systemize, we don't actually need.
Okay.
Especially from a marketing perspective, everybody's trying to like automate and use AI and all this stuff, which is great. I'm not suggesting you don't use these tools.
Yes.
But for me personally, I'm like, if I have to create and introduce an extra overhead into my business, am I doing it right? Do I actually need it? So I'm questioning everything all of the time. And I've worked out that a lot of the time, the complicated stuff that we introduce into our business that we need systems for is like marginal gain. So for example, like take marketing, for example, as a function in my business. I don't do marketing. Okay? Which sounds counterintuitive, because everybody's like, well, you have books and I see you all on social media and I see you doing this stuff, right? I don't do marketing. I get to do marketing. So if I want to post, I can. But I realised, like, so Ali Abdaal's podcast, for example, case in point, I guested on that one podcast and got 3,000 leads for my business.
3,000 leads.
Right.
Wow.
So all that podcast was a train journey, hour and a half down to London, 2.5 hours recording, hour and a half back. So like a day out. Like if I can spend one day marketing on putting myself on a podcast, which is fun, let's face it, right? Especially with somebody like Ali.
Yeah, sitting with Ali.
And I get 3,000 leads for that. Why bother filling up the other 364 days with shiny marketing stuff? So now, for example, like one of the things which brought me here to this summit, the Billion Follower Summit, is that I'm very fortunate to have been able to network and now work with some of the biggest influencers in the world. So people like Ali Abdaal, so I'm a mentor on his Lifestyle Business Academy program that he runs. Simon Squibb, I'm a mentor on the Help Bank program. Nisha, who was speaking earlier on as well, she's a financial educator, I'm a mentor on her inner circle. Okay. And all of these people, I don't get paid for that work, but what happens is, like Nisha, for example, might mention me on a video and I get 300 new subscribers. Now, do I grow my channel and publish tons of videos? and in the hope that I get a subscriber and a subscriber and a subscriber, or do I go and do what I love doing, coaching on somebody's partner's like program and get 300 new subscribers? Like,
Wow.
what's the most economical route, right? So that's how I think. And the reason behind that, and again, I don't mind sharing this, I set myself a goal when I sold my agency, started at intentionally then started up the coaching practice, that I wanted to get to the same revenue in my coaching business as I got in my marketing business, but just be one person.
Okay.
Because I find managing people stressful. So you build systems and automations and have loads of other complicated, shiny marketing things in your business. You need to manage people, which takes up time.
Fine.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm like, if I don't need it, I won't do it. That might change in the future.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's not advice. I'm not telling everybody to never hire somebody or not do these things. But this is, for me personally, this is the way I've structured my business.
So point is that we should know that what we want as a person.
100%, yes. That's a great summary, yeah.
Yes. What lifestyle we want that will suit our career.
Yes.
Or design your career based on your lifestyle, based on your preferences, and have awareness that whether I want this or don't want this.
Yeah.
Wow, superb.
And there's some frustrations there because, I am available I've got 2 girls. I'm a dad, and I get to do the school drop off in the morning. I get to pick them up after school. I take time out. I take my girls to swimming competitions and all the stuff that dad needs to do. There are times when I get a bit frustrated that the business world is evolving faster than me. I live in a very sleepy part of the English countryside.
Okay.
And there's so much going on here and in London and all around the world that there's a potential that I'm going to fall behind a little bit. So I get a bit frustrated with that. But like you said, it's a choice. It's a lifestyle choice. Yeah.
Wow, superb. So Robin, it was incredible talking to you. I learned a lot, and our audience also learned a lot about your career journey and about the coaching business. And so thank you for coming on the show.
Pleasure.
And sharing your learnings so openly, so authentically, and with so vulnerability. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me onto the show.
Thank you.